Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Jacobshadowminer here. I've not made a video in over 2 weeks. And there's a reason behind that. I'm usually, I'm usually not the guy to make that kind of video. Well, I've made these kind of videos a few times at least, but this time, I'm not gonna lie. Um, Doing the move, coming here to start my own business, my own publishing company, coming here has not been the greatest. Now, if a lot of you guys know, I posted a TikTok and a short way back when saying, you got to make sacrifices, you got to make changes, all these lifestyle things. I'm not gonna lie, ever since I moved here, things haven't been the best. And, me, a lot of you guys know me, in a perfect world, if I could just focus on my videos, if I could just focus on my projects, I would be keeping up with this thing on a daily basis, like doing stuff like this every day. I mean, for me, it's fun. Like for me, I enjoy doing stuff like this because, I mean, not only does it get my vision out, the things I've dreamed about since I was a little kid, like my projects, or even just being a YouTuber, which I'm not really doing a good job at. But just doing those things, makes me happy, and making stuff for people makes me happy because we look back at the Walt Disneys and the Stan Lees and all that kind of stuff. Those people enjoyed creating things for people because they too had things going on in their lives. And giving somebody an escape to just get away from these things that we get tied into and sucked into through our daily lives just means so much to me. But it sucks. It sucks that those things that we all try to get away from, it's just pulling me down to a point where I can't focus on the things that I want to even use to, like, get away from those things. But, just like making things for people to get away from just the daily annoyances of life. And, one of my big goals, and I guess you can say I kind of achieved that big goal, was when I moved here. I wanted to get my publishing company up and going and off the ground. I did that. I published my first book, A Crazy Life, which is, a lot of you guys know who've been on the channel for a long time, a project that's evolved since 2019. That link's in the description, by the way, if you want to buy that book. I have so many plans for it. I plan it to be this immersive, like, book YouTube series in the works, and game, just all these things, and just something to solve. That's for you, Game Theory and Markiplier, if you guys even care. I'm pretty sure at some point you guys would. But it just, I got all these things. And one of my biggest struggles, and one of my biggest weaknesses too, is I've never been able to make money off doing this stuff. And you would think, oh, well, Jacob, you used to work at Staples, used to, be in all these sales positions. Why can't you turn this into why can't you make your own business? I don't know. It's always been one of my weaknesses. And, me personally, it's one of my things I need to overcome. Learning how to turn my YouTube channel, turn my content, turn stuff like this into something that makes money. And I guess you could say one of my biggest weaknesses is I've never had the time to just sit down and do it. And, that's something I've always been and am still trying to work on, is consistency. But it's these rough patches, getting to, little points like this. Ever since I moved here, it's been, like, preferably, I don't want to work a job, because I've worked at like three places for like 7+ years, and I got tied down to those things to the point where like, oh my god, I was turning those into careers. And I mean, me, I would rather own my own business. I have my own LLC. I have my own business. I would rather do that, but it's just that thing, you know? You know, it's like trying to make money off of that, trying to sustain myself, trying to sustain the channels, trying to sustain my projects. And to get there, you know, as they all say, and what I've heard throughout life, you know, you have to make money to, or well, you have to give money to make money. And I tell you what, you know, ever since I moved here, it's been so hard to find a job. Um, you know, the job market being so tough and everything. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not been the easiest. You know, when I moved here, I thought, well, you know, I'd move here, be near the city, get my business started. But you know, as they say, not everything's greener on the other side. um, it's just been so tough. I've like I said in my last TikTok, I've had to lose things to gain things, and back in North Carolina, I had I had to let go of the things that are left in my storage unit. You know, like I said, everything in my room here is like mainly important, but you know, it sucks. You know, I left because the moving company I hired screwed me over, and I didn't know I couldn't get my things out of my storage unit because I was just planning on taking it from point A and just moving it over to point B. But I did, you know, it sucks. You know, losing your high school diploma and you know your amiibo figures and your comic books, you know, and the things like that. And my trombone I used to have for like band class, you know, it sucks losing those things that I've had for years, you know, and even my own college diploma. Yeah, I mean those two things are, you know, things. It's like, you know, Jacob, you could just call those places and get a new one, but you know, it's like you just can't replace the memories behind those things. You know, yeah, I could get a new piece of paper. Yeah, if I wanted to play trombone again, which I love playing my trombone, I could get a new trombone, but you can't replace the memories of those things. And you know, that's something I've had to get over. Is, you know, those are losses I had to take. You know, moving here. I mean, I knew there was a chance I could lose those things, and I don't know. You know, it is what it is, and I took those losses, and all I can say is it sucks. Um, and you know, this is a message to a lot of you guys out there. You know, being a YouTuber, being a content creator, being a business owner. You know, and I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. It's there's no greener grass on the other side all the time. Um, you may run if you decide to make the leap like I did. You may run into the same things, same issues, and you know, running something like this is doing these things is in general. Like what I've been told several times. You know, businesses. At the end of the day, that's what a YouTuber is. It's what a content creator is. It's a business. Running a business, you're solely in charge of your brand for however long it takes to get it off the ground. Your business doesn't make profit, you don't make profit. And at the end of the day, that's how it is. And you know, that's not to say, you know, like, hey, you know, don't do those things. You know, don't. I'm not saying not to become a content creator, but these are some things to consider. You know, again, you know, this doesn't happen all the time. You know, some people just put videos out there and hit it big. You know, it's just like playing a game. You know, it's like playing sports. You know, Sometimes you just go out on the field and you hit home runs and you win games. I mean, at the end of the day, that's how it is. But sometimes you go out there and even the professionals, even the best of the best, go out there and they struggle. But then it's just how you go about going back, working on those things, and then going back to the plate and putting your best game out there. And I'd hate to say it, right now I'm at that point where I'm struggling at the plate. I'm missing so many times, and like content wise, I'm doing good. Like shorts, I'm doing great on. It's just the one thing I can't figure out is how to make money doing this stuff, so I can just pay the necessities, pay rent, pay food. I can't tell you, and not to concern a lot of you guys. I've been doing good lately, but I haven't even been able to get stuff like food, and it's a little dangerous. It's a little worrying. Other than losing material things, but those are just things at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've went through a lot, and that's why you guys haven't really seen me making videos too much. Like a lot of you guys knew back in high school, I stayed up till like 6 o'clock in the morning, just making Minecraft videos, making Five Nights at Freddy's videos. But here I am. My day I start up, I've submitted over 30 plus job applications. And every single one of them, oh, sorry, we're full. And, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit demoralizing. I have this, I wouldn't call it the all-star of all resumes, but like, great resume. I used to work like in a grocery store job, high school job, and then I worked at Staples for like 7 years. Worked my way up to like tech supervisor, and then I worked at a sporting goods store for like 4 or 5 years. And it's like I show these to people, and like some jobs I know they're very competitive, like Hot Topic. Apparently it takes a miracle to get at that place, but it's like there's some of these jobs. It's like, why? I don't know. I hate to say it, but I've gotten to a point where it's like, maybe there's a reason behind all this. Maybe this is like telling me, hey, Jacob, I even have a friend. I have a friend I met, I've met that's been helping me out and all that kind of. We've been like just hanging out and playing Minecraft and like hang out at our streams every now and then. Her and her husband. And she's even told me, I've had so many people tell me, why don't you do your own thing? And I mean, maybe the reason I haven't been able to get a job is like telling me like, hey, maybe you need to do your own thing, but I don't know. I mean, I'd hate to say it, usually I'm the one with ideas. Usually I'm the one that's always coming up with a way to get out of something. But man, I just hate to say it. This is one of them moments I just don't know. I just don't know. I just wanted to put this message out there for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys have been messaging me and wanted to update you guys what's going on in my life and all that kind of stuff. And as impossible as it seems, I do have a plan. Like I said, I put my book out finally. That's one of the big things for the past 2 years I've been trying to achieve, and I finally did that. I think what I'm going to do, I just actually is 11 years of my channel, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I've neglected it. And I know like maybe I said this at some point in the video, maybe I didn't, but I think what I want to do is take my schedule, the schedule I put out for like streaming and all that, to achieve affiliate, whatever. I think what I'm going to do is start focusing more on the YouTube content. Excuse me. Start focusing on the YouTube content, because this is what I've done for the past 10 years, and I'm not writing out streaming at all. I'm not writing off that at all. I always seen, and I'll say this, I think I said this at some point too, but I've always seen Twitch and streaming in general as an extension to what I do on here, rather than a primary focus. And I've just turned it too much into a focus. I'm not gonna lie. It is just there for that little bit. It took over so much. I never even had a chance to make a YouTube video. And it feels so wrong to not put out content here for people that, for those 11 years that have looked forward to seeing me and seeing what I do and seeing what I put out. And it's also disheartening. 15-year-old me, 16-year-old me had that play button dream, and here I am 11 years and I have nothing to show for it. So I didn't want to worry you guys. I never wanted to worry you guys. I just want to let you guys know what's going on, and how things are going, and what's going on. I don't really make videos like this, and I thought, well, maybe I should sit down and do it. What's the hurt in being like, hey, I'm struggling. We're all human, But, keep a lookout. I do have a few streams planned coming up. Of course, I'm going to be keeping up my shorts and TikToks, probably a little bit focusing more on shorts, because I'm kind of doing better there, and there's some weird stuff going on there on TikTok. I have a Minecraft SMP coming out. We are very close to launching it. Chromatica SMP. I will give more details. I actually might stream, because there's just a few finishing touches I need to put on it tonight, and we might be launching in 3-4 days. I will give more info on stream, and then do another video, because it's actually going to be a video series I planned out. So let's see where that goes. And if you guys want to read the book I've got, I'm going to put that in the description below. I think you guys really enjoy it. Like I said, that's a series thing, book story thing I wrote for the past 6 years, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy the story. Personally, it gives you an option. You can partake in the game, the bigger picture, the puzzle solving, all that kind of stuff. Being a crazy conspiracy theorist almost, or you can just enjoy the story. That's a kind of storytelling thing I thought, not many people do it. It's either black and white. It's either red or blue. It's either, you choose this or choose that. There's no in between. If there's an ARG, you got to be part of that ARG to understand the bigger picture. A lot of Marvel stories and all that. Or if it's just a simple story, it's a simple story. There's no in between. And I thought, A Crazy Life has a good chance, has a good opportunity to just break that mold of okay, give the readers, give the consumers something to enjoy, or just give them something to play. Sorry, I got a Discord message. But just give them something to enjoy, or give them something to play. And not many people are doing that, and I want to see how well this kind of story goes, especially being spanned across books, video games, and YouTube series. I don't know, Netflix or anyone, if you're watching, if you want to pick it up. But anyways, so I'm going to be head down in that after I get, personal life things figured out. I have so many big ideas, so many plans for that story. And then we got Chromatica coming up. And then we have 2 other mysterious little projects on the side after those 2 things. So thank you guys so much for supporting me. I cannot say this enough. It's been 11 years. I look forward to 10 more freaking awesome great years and beyond. You know, my biggest dream always is to get not only just this channel up, but get my publishing company, get Sagomatic Studios up and out there, and give people a chance, give people the opportunity I never got. A lot of us earlier YouTubers never got to just make something and put something out there. And if I can do that, I've done my job. So if you guys want to check what's going on, all my socials are below. Just wanted to update you guys. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you. And I look forward to be trying to work on more content pretty soonish, hopefully. And it's been fun. It's been real. And make sure you hit that. I haven't done an outro in a while. Or a little inconsistent. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button right in the face. But also, don't break that screen. Expensive. And as always, I shall see you guys in the next one. Never forget, keep shining.